There we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the April general membership meeting for the New York WSO. This will be an update on everything that has gone on in our organization since our last meeting, which was held on November 19th, 2023. I am James McDermott. I am the New York WSO board president, and I'm joined today by many members of our board. Frank Ford is not here at the moment, but he might be coming in. Joe Rodriguez, welcome. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, yep, there you
I was
go.
on mute.
Oh, I like your new background there. Cool. Chris Smith is also here. Hello, Chris.
Hello, how's everybody doing?
We're doing good. Julie Falamas is not here yet, but she may be popping in soon. Erica Queso is also here. Hello, Erica.
Hello,
And your cat is here too. What's your cat's name again?
it's Barney.
Barney.
Yep,
All right. Honorary WSO, the board cat is here.
right.
Alyssa Garrison is also here. Hello, Alyssa.
Hello.
Does anyone else have a cat here as well? I don't know. Brian DeGeneiro is not here yet, but he may be joining us soon. And Michelle Woogan is here. Hello, Michelle.
Hi.
So thank you, everybody, for coming. And speaking of thank yous, one more big thank you to our past board members. The last time we met, Frank Mintz, Sarah Soto, and Jerry Dunn were all on the board, but since then there was an election, and I know that it was announced on email and social media and everything, but not in the general membership form. So just wanted to thank all of them one more time for their service and what they continue to do for weightlifting. Just because they're not on the board doesn't mean that they don't continue to volunteer at meets or help the organization in other greater ways. So we're always appreciative of these three people right here. Now we're going to start off with a little overview of metrics in the WSO. As far as members go, we currently have 854 active members, and that is people who also have active credentials as of today, April 21st, 2024. This is down a little bit from the start of last year and also the last April general membership meeting, and also in November. People have different types of memberships. I've discussed this with USA Weightlifting, and according to them, people aren't quick to renew their memberships. Some people have 1 month memberships. They sign up for a meet, and then after that, their membership expires. So this is reflective, I think, more of that. But that is our current membership count. As far as clubs, we have 33 active clubs as of today, and that's down from the start of last year from 34 and also the end of last year when we had 39. Again, there are many clubs that are still active within the organization, still going to meets, still hosting meets themselves, and are still training athletes. It's just their USA Weightlifting sanctioned membership is currently not up to date. So I'd encourage people to update your credentials, especially if there's a big meet coming up. That's always a stressful time when there is an AO series, or let's say the national championships week is coming up, and then you decide I need to update my membership. And then what always happens to me is, oh, Safe Sport is also due, and then I have to go through all of that training too. So definitely good idea to make sure that you're updated on all that stuff. As far as weightlifting meets, since November 19th of last year to now, we've had 10 weightlifting meets in the WSO. 2 were held at the end of 2023, 6 were in the first quarter of 2024, and then we've already had 2 go down in the second quarter of 2024. They've been spread pretty evenly around New York State, although 3 of them, the majority have, well, not majority, but 3 of them have been coming from Long Island. So great job, Chris. I know he's also the meet director for all 3 of those meets. About 284 athletes have competed locally in all of these 10 weightlifting meets. That's about 33% of the current membership. So quite a few people hitting up those meets. And in the entirety of 2023, we had 28 meets held, and I think we're on track to beating that this year, but we'll see. For our coaching courses, we've had 3 coaching courses since our last meeting, all of them level 1 courses. There was 1 at the end of 2023, 2 in the first quarter of 2024, and they were in Western New York and in Long Island. They yielded 33 new coaches. I'm unsure if these are all people from New York, since that is outside of my view. But either way, in USA Weightlifting, 33 new coaches or 31 new coaches were created, and 10 courses were held throughout 2023. So we'll see if we can beat that number coming up in 2024. If you go to nywso.com/events, you can see all of the competitions that are currently on our calendar and the coaching courses as well. Oh, and before we move on, we have an awesome photo here of Anna Oberkircher snatching 62 kilos at the state championships. You're going to see a lot of awesome photos throughout the presentation. They were the majority of them taken by Julia Rodriguez at the state championships, and you can see her information down there under the photos. We're incredibly grateful for her photography skills. Moving on to national events. At the North American Open Finals last year, we had 40 athletes attend, and they earned 14 gold medals, 9 silver medals, and 15 bronze medals. So that's a great showing from the WSO. At the National University Championships, we had 8 athletes attend, and they earned 2 bronze medals. So great job to those athletes. At the North American Open Series 1, 58 athletes attended that competition, and they earned 11 gold medals, 10 silver medals, and 11 bronze medals. Murder of Crows Barbell Club placed 4th overall in the team competition, and Empire Weightlifting placed 7th. So great job to all of them. In the adaptive competition for the North American Open Series 1, there was 1 athlete from the WSO who competed, and he won 3 gold medals. And while it doesn't say it on here, it was Thomas Smalley. So shout out to Tom Smalley. Congratulations, great job. At the National Masters Championships, we had 22 athletes attend, and they earned 15 gold medals, 12 silver medals, and 7 bronze medals. We had 6 national champions crowned, and the best overall female lifter in the entire competition out of all the age groups and weight classes was from our WSO, and that is Stella Ladau. So congratulations to her. Congratulations to all of the athletes that represented our WSO on the national level so far since our last meeting. And here we have an awesome photo of Jamie Battaglia snatching 120 kilos at the New York State Championships. Continuing on with our finances for the WSO. Now, this gentleman wasn't at the New York State Championships, although I'm sure we could arrange it somehow. Mr. Scrooge McDuck. Who didn't want to do that when you were a kid? I know I did. Dive around in a bunch of coins. Our last financial report was received on Wednesday, December 6, 2023, and that highlighted where our finances were, or really some of our finances, from September through November of that year. The last requested financial report was done on January 8th of this year, and I've not received it yet. I got word from USA Weightlifting that they are still reconciling the books through December 31st, and that should say 2023, not 2024. So they still are working on that. I know that they've been very busy at the home office with all the events going on, so I will request again and hopefully have that for the meeting minutes for May. There are changes being made to our financial situation as an organization. In the past, we would receive rebates quarterly based on our membership and meet sanctions. And now USAW is deciding to move on from a rebate model to a budget model as of 2024. So we aren't receiving any new funding in 2024. And there's a stipulation to that we have to spend the money that we have now that comes from rebates before we can receive new money at a later date. And I know that that's very vague, very brief. We're still learning more on our end, but I'd be happy to have a conversation with anyone who has questions about it. And if I can't answer a question, I will reach out to higher ups who can. Also, we will be, yeah, that's it. That's it for the financial report. Congratulations to Kurt Roderick on achieving the technical official status of IWF Category 1. He did this at the end of last year at the 2023 North American Open Finals, where he took the practical exam while he was coaching 10 athletes and managing his other responsibilities. We all know from coaching at these national meets that alone is a lot of work. in addition to volunteering, let alone having the pressure of trying to level up. So that's a great accomplishment from Kurt. If anyone is interested, the different levels of technical official in weightlifting would be the USAW local ref, USAW national ref, and then you have your IWF category twos and category ones. Uh, there's a minimum of a 6-year stage for each of those, plus a requirement to work at national meets. If you'd like to learn more on how you can level up and be involved with officiating at weightlifting meets, head to nywso.com/technical officials, and all of the different stipulations and requirements for the different levels are listed there. Plus, there's also a listing of all of the officials in our organization. Congratulations one more time to Kurt Roderick. There's an awesome photo of Michelle. I think this was the best photo taken at the state championships last year, honestly. I don't know how this timed out so well with the chalk dust around the plates. I don't even know, Michelle, if you saw this previously, but
I didn't, but I love it.
I know that is an awesome photo right there. So a little bit of barbell magic from Michelle on that one. WSO goals. So we started off the year with a list of goals that we're going to try to accomplish to improve our organization, involving scholarships, a podcast, some partnerships with other organizations. So I'm going to, in these next bunch of slides, go through each of these and say where we're at and also the details behind them. For the coaching scholarships, we had an application period. There's Michelle again, celebrating celebrating a 62 kilo snatch, successful snatch. The application period for this year for the coaching scholarships for women and the BIPOC individuals was from January 1st to January 31st. We awarded 10 scholarships after it was all said and done, and the next application period will start in January 2025, or at least that's the goal. I think it'd be a good best practice to have this be done at the beginning of the year and then get those people in coaching courses throughout the remainder of the year. Congratulations to Amanda Can, Haley Masonette, Jean Legary, Jenny Orden, Jessica Rodriguez, Joelle von Bischofshausen, Lucy Geringer, Siobhan Sedney, Stacy Stadler, and Tazira Rashid on winning the scholarships. I know many of them are already enrolled in coaching courses, whether they be a level 1 or level 2. You can see next to their name what regions of the state that they come from. So we have a nice spread as well of representation throughout the state for new coaches. So congratulations to everybody, and I'd encourage everyone in the WSO, if you're interested in coaching, to keep an eye out for the next time this scholarship is going to be on the table. Speaking of scholarships, we have our Youth and Junior Athlete Scholarship. This is to provide financial assistance to youth and junior athletes who are attending the USA Weightlifting National Championships. The applications are due by Thursday, May 16th, 2024, and the period to enroll has been open since Tuesday, May 23rd of last year. Pretty much this is the deadline to register for those events, so it coincides with Youth and Junior Nationals. And you can find more information on this scholarship and others, including the enrollment form, by going to New York or nywso.com/athlete-support. And here we have an awesome photo of Adam Howrychak. Listen can let me know if I said that right. Clean and jerking 56 kilos at the state championships. So more to come on the youth and junior scholarships once we hit the deadline. A big goal this year was to start a podcast for the New York WSO. It's me and Sarah Soto as the host, and the goal is just to provide an additional and alternative way to communicate important WSO news to our membership. We'd also like to highlight athletes, coaches, and clubs. We have some interviews coming on the way where we can really shine a spotlight on the amazing individuals in our organization. We also plan to promote and recap events. On the last episode we just did, we went through the entire meet calendar and talked about each of the meets that are coming up. And we plan to continue to do this. We're looking for stories to tell. So If you're out there and you have a weightlifting story to tell and you want to be interviewed on the podcast, reach out to one of us and we'll work on scheduling it. You can find the video format of the podcast on YouTube, and you can also find audio and video formats on Spotify. I was trying to get us on iTunes, and I ran into a little bit of a snag on there. Since I was last messing around with iTunes, things have changed a little bit, and I think you have to pay now to do that. So right now, we're just on YouTube and Spotify until I learn more about that. You can find the podcast by searching for New York Weightlifting on both of those platforms. And on YouTube specifically, you can also find live streams from some competitions from around the WSO and also last year's general membership meeting from November. So if you want to get caught up or get a more complete picture of the last 6 months, you can go back and watch the video for that meeting and pair it along with this one.
James, sorry if I missed it, but did you say if people have a story, did you say how they can get in touch with who should they get in touch with to be on the podcast?
Yeah, they can send me an email, james.amcd@yahoo.com, or on Instagram, or any of our other WSO channels. Just slide into those DMs and make a request and let me know what are we going to talk about. Thank you, Michelle. That's a good question. I Love New York Weightlifting. We have a partnership going on with ilovenewyork.com. In New York State, they are a nonprofit that helps to promote tourism throughout the state. And right now, they're allowing us to list the New York State Championships under their sports and gaming section. And the hope is that it will promote spectator attendance, especially for people who are unfamiliar with the sport of weightlifting. And we have some soft goals with that on one, to see maybe a trickle down effect of if people who are just sports enthusiasts say, hey, what's this weightlifting thing? They come to state championships. Maybe they're from Syracuse and they come down to Binghamton and then they want to get involved. They're like, whoa, I see masters athletes out there lifting. I see youth junior athletes out there. Maybe I'll get my kids involved. So we're hoping to see some sort of a trickle down effect with more promotion to come and watch the event for people all throughout the state. And I know many people check that website to see, hey, what is there to do in X town? What's going on this weekend? And there also is another soft goal that I'm currently working on to gain the ability to list ideally all the local events, so any sanction that comes in, if I could list it there and try to get people to come and watch those meets, that could have a direct positive impact on the club that's running it or just gyms in that general area. If, let's say, Frank Ford is running a meet at his gym in Binghamton, and so again, someone comes from the Hudson Valley or from maybe even the Capital District region, they decide to go back home and get involved with weightlifting. And I'm currently working with the Central New York Tourism Group on some signage for the state championships. They're going to be printing us a cool welcome sign to put in the entranceway of the hotel that will just welcome everybody to the area. So definitely more to come with this, and there's more being worked on it, but just getting the state championships on the website was a major goal for this year that has been accomplished. And someday I want to put this on a t-shirt too, by the way. Another soft goal. It's not listed there. I Love New York Weightlifting. Records revision. We have an awesome photo here of Nydia Pardo from Griffin Strength Barbell, post-lift celebration. Another goal this year was to revise the template that displays the New York State and New York State meet records, just to provide more consistency with it on how it's displayed, make it easier to find things. I also am trying to work on highlighting publicly when new records are broken and acknowledge previous record holders. I do think it's important to say, if Alyssa held a record for 20 years and someone breaks it, it's good just to give acknowledgement that Alyssa did have that for 20 years. And who knows, maybe acknowledging the previous record holder would encourage them to get their shoes on and strap up the singlet and try to go get their record back. So maybe even a little bit of friendly competition. Since the announcement that the records were revised, we've had 15 applications come in and 21 records were verified and approved since March 25th, 2024. So people are checking them, and I'd encourage members to continue to review their own lifting results there's no time limit on a lifting performance counting as a record. So you may have done a record lifting lift or set a record lifting total at a meet in 2021, but you never submitted for it. So if it's in USA Weightlifting's bar's website and you submit for it and it exceeds what's currently listed on there, then you'll be listed as the record holder. We can also only award records for performances done in events sanctioned or affiliated with USA Weightlifting. So I know this year there were 2 Masters National Championships. We can only honor records set at the USA Weightlifting Masters National Championships and not the other organization or any other organization. So just a heads up on that. And if you want to read more about the New York State records, go to nywso.com/state-records. That's also where you'll find the application. This is an ongoing goal to create an online store for the New York WSO where we'd have t-shirts that display the logos for all the regions and also our WSO logo. We have the ability to create a nonprofit store, which means members would be able to purchase items at wholesale pricing instead of a marked up price. Our intention is not to make a profit. We are a nonprofit, so we're not actively trying to do that. We do have funding coming in from USA Weightlifting. We just want to provide an opportunity for people to rep the WSO, rep their region, and buy some cool gear at affordable prices. So more on this is coming soon. We discussed it this evening at a board meeting, and it will be announced shortly once the entire store is created. Next up, awards revisions. So we have athlete awards, our outstanding athlete rewards, and we have decided to make some changes to this. One, we removed the nomination process. Previously, you were able to fill out a form and nominate an athlete, whether they be your athlete, your teammate, just an athlete that you admire from local competitions. Instead, we're using the state rankings as a feeder system for each division. Now, in the past, with the nomination process, participation was an issue. You might have only one senior man be nominated for the award, and there are certainly many people out there deserving of it. Now, by using the state rankings, we take the top 10 men or the top 10 women from each of these groups, and they now are pitted against each other, and their results are looked up, and we find out statistically and mathematically by using a points-based system who was the most outstanding senior male, senior female, junior male, junior female, or masters man and woman in the entirety of the WSL. We did decide to remove the most improved award. It was felt by members of the board that it was a little redundant, and it's also something that can't really be defined, too much mathematically when pitting others against each other or have a feeder system to feed into. And also, by using a points-based system, we remove opinion on who is the most outstanding athlete as well, which we felt was important. If you want to read more about it, you can go to nywso.com/outstanding-athletes. Right here, we have a cool photo of Christina Casey during the middle of a 72-kilo snatch. And I believe she did make that snatch, by the way. I just thought that was a cool photo, so I put it there. What we're going to do now is go through the most outstanding athletes for 2023. And if you're not familiar, we award athletes for performances in the previous year. So since 2024 is still ongoing, we don't know who the most outstanding athlete will be. So we're awarding it for the previous year. So are you guys ready for this? All right, here we go. Outstanding athletes. First up, our outstanding junior woman is Marcy Baldinger. And here we have a great photo of Marcy at the state championships snatching 60 kilos. So she is our outstanding junior woman athlete. For outstanding junior male, we have Connor Lacey. Connor is seen here snatching 108 kilos at the New York State Championships. So these are our junior outstanding athletes. Before we move on, I know that there are people here who know Marcy and who know Connor. So does anyone want to say a few words congratulating them or just anything that we should know about them while we're on it. Maybe we'll go to Marcy first. I know Chris is here. Chris, do you want? Whoops, sorry.
What's
Spoilers.
up?
How do you want to say anything about Marcy?
Oh, she's a hard worker. She's getting strong. Uh, she's looking at colleges. She's a good kid. Shows up all the time. Trains. Improving. You know, leg strength is coming along, and she's
Awesome.
doing well.
Cool. Well, congratulations again to her and your team.
Thank you.
Alyssa or Sam, would you guys like to say anything about Connor?
Yeah, so Connor is part of our club, but he's also out at St. John Fisher and he works his butt off, comes to train every time he's home and then trains every time he's out there and then leaves to go to meets like he just went to universities too. So, and he's seen some huge improvements. So, Sam, you got anything else?
I won't, not to ruin your presentation, James, but that's 118 kilos. And,
Oh, snap. Oh,
Okay,
all
I
right.
also I was doing the math as well, and I was like, I think that number's off, but I don't want to say it.
and
No. If you guys say things, if you guys know things, say, you know how many hours I've been looking at this spreadsheet or all these things?
I'll
And that's-
also say that not to cut Connor down here a little bit, but he missed that snatch.
Oh,
You picked the one that he missed, but his 114 was I think it was 114 was a state record tie. We didn't know it for the 96 kilo class. So that was he opened that day at a PR snatch and then hit a 6 kilo PR on top of that for 114 or something. So yeah. But I've known him since he was a little like in high school and everything, but he quit football specifically to Olympic lift. This is a hard
awesome.
worker and a good kid. So
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job. That's funny. Because when I found this photo, there was nothing after it, and I just assumed that he made it. So now, Connor, you have to make this lift now. I don't know. What's his current PR? What's he made since?
I think we tried I want to say he hit 115 or something, or he hit something slightly heavier at
I thought he
universities.
made 16 at universities.
And then we tried 120 and he missed it. So but eventually, soon, very soon, probably at June at U23s, he'll probably get there. So
Awesome. Well, I'm trying to will it into existence with this photo. Our Masters woman, most outstanding athlete, is Stella Liddell. And here she is seen snatching 62 kilos. Now I'm going to be paranoid about my math on all the rest of these photos. Chris, this is again another one of your athletes. Would you like to say anything about Stella?
She's a beast. She's my hero. She trains hard. She's lifts it. She lifts God. I believe she lifts at every Masters competition. So she's like the Grand Slam winner. 52 years old. She just keeps pounding away. She's tough. She's tough and she loves it. I wish we had a lot more Stellas in the association. I mean, she's just 52. That's incredible. Really incredible.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's pretty amazing.
I mean, she sends me stuff. She's like, look, I'm like, you're a beast. What do you want? You know, she's I have nothing. She's just that. She's awesome. She really is.
Hey, and
You
you're in
know.
the photo there. Look at that.
Yeah, there I am.
Well,
All from the side.
congratulations to Stella. Remember this year at the national championships, she was the best overall lifter. And that includes all the weight classes, all the age groups. So that's a amazing accomplishment. And I know that's not her first time being the best overall lifter, correct?
No, she's won it several times already. I
Outstanding.
mean, several times. So, and I
All right.
believe she also, and I also believe she dropped it. She may have dropped the class. She may have lifted as a 55 instead of a 59. You know, she's up and down.
Yeah.
So, and she's competing in CrossFit too. She's qualified for like a major event. It's,
Multi-sport athlete. It's
look
impressive.
what you can do. Age has no boundaries, evidently.
Nope, it's just a number.
It's incredible. Incredible.
All right, our most outstanding Masters man is Robert Santoro. And here he is, clean and jerking 131 kilos at the state championships. Thankfully, I have the computer screen in the background for that one. Can someone tell me? I think Robert said he might be coming. Is he here at all, or?
No, it doesn't look like it.
Okay. Is it still just us? Just so I know who's here.
Yeah.
Yep. Us and good old Sam.
All right, awesome. Perfect. Well, Robert is a fantastic lifter. Is there anyone out there that knows him personally? I've only met him a couple times at the state championships, but he's definitely putting up big lifts, as we can see right here, being a Masters man. 131 is pretty darn good. All right. Next up, our most outstanding senior woman is Lucy Geringer from Brooklyn Training Hall. Here she is at the National University Championships at the AO Series 1, or at the Arnold. And I'm pretty sure I ref this session. It's possible both me and Michelle ref this session. I can't remember. I'm seeing her right now and I'm like, oh, I remember this. But then again, it was all blur. But congratulations to her. Does anyone know her personally at all? Melissa?
No.
Okay, cool. Well, either way, we're excited for her. Well earned. And finally, we have our most outstanding senior man, Dean Atsuka. And the reason Dean gets 2 photos and everybody else got 1 is because I had the awesome photo from the back. I couldn't find a front photo of weightlifting for some reason, so I had to do it this way. So we have a nice snatch pose going for a 102 kilo snatch, and we also have a victory pose. So I'm going to assume he made that lift. I don't know. But Chris and Joe, I know you guys have known Dean for quite some time. Do you have any words to say about Dean?
He keeps Dean's around. Is Dean almost a Masters?
He is a Masters. Yep.
He's a master. Yeah, he's been around multiple. I mean, he's gotten medals at the senior nationals many times. Coached by Joe Triolo, and he's a good guy. Loves lifting, and he's improving even as a master. It's crazy. Well, I believe he used to be a record holder. I'm not sure if he's a record holder anymore.
Yeah, actually, he's due to put in for some more state records. He just hadn't put in for it yet, but and in 2 weight classes too.
Yeah, I mean, he's I mean, just to keep lifting over a 10, 15-year period, and just keep plugging away. I mean, he's been around that long, probably the
Yep.
mid-2000s. Yeah,
It should be noted that he floats around between 61 kilos and 67 kilos, and he's pretty dominant in both. I believe he was the top athlete for both weight classes in the state rankings. So he's very successful and just dominating those weight classes. So congratulations, Dean. Moving on, we have an award addition. This year, we've added a Coach of the Year award. This was something that was proposed about maybe the fall of last year by Frank Ford, and the board discussed it. We worked on it, and what we want to do is just highlight excellence in coaching. Coaches are entered into the awards consideration by having at least one athlete ranked in the top 20 nationally in any age group. They must be a member of the New York WSO in good standing and USA Weightlifting, and possess a minimum of a level 1 coaching credential. And again, we determine the winner via a points-based system. If you want to learn more about this award, you can go to nywso.com/coach-of-the-year. We have here a photo of board member, athlete rep, Brian DeGennaro snatching 111 kilos at state championships. But without further ado, the 2023 Coach of the Year is Mr. Kurt Roderick of Murder of Crows. And here we have a photo, a badass snatch photo of Kurt. So it's been a very productive 6 months for Kurt. IWF category level 1 coach, 4th place at the AO for the teams, and then now coach of the year. And I'm sure he has many other projects and things that he's pursuing. I do know that the Murder of Crows Open is going into their 9-year anniversary, so that's going on as well. But congratulations to Kurt. Does anyone want to say some words on Kurt that maybe has known him throughout the years? Joe?
No, I was just a mutant. Uh, no, it's a great accomplishment. Like you said, he ranked it through the system. Um, I mean, you covered it actually pretty well. You covered the bases. So there's not a whole lot more to say, but congrats to him.
Yeah, congratulations, Kurt. Next up, the state championships. Here we have an awesome picture of Gene Raymond Falkery post lift celebration. I would say the award for best post lift celebrations, it might go to Gene. It might go. He has been known to bust a move on the competition platform and show off his dance skills and other things. So this is post 98 kilo clean and jerk. But moving on back to the state championships, just some important information. This year, the event will be held on Saturday, September 28th and Sunday, September 29th at the Doubletree by Hilton, Binghamton in Binghamton, New York. The room rate is already established. It'll be $142 per night, and it's in addition to tax. There is a discount code to get that rate, so use discount code WL4 if you are attending the event. Early bird registration starts Wednesday, May 1st, so that's coming up real soon. And then that early bird period will end Sunday, June 30th. And last year, the event sold out in just 40 days. We did make it 10 days into the regular registration period. We are increasing the number of athletes to 200, but I still wouldn't count on it, with tickets being available for as long as maybe some people would like. So definitely be on top of that early bird registration. The regular registration starts Monday, July 1st, and ends on Sunday, August 31st, if we make it that far. Team registration runs all the way through from May 1st to September 22nd. Continue our conversation here about the state championships. First, we have Maria Lopez Guardon snatching 69 kilos at the state championships last year. Great lift. But we are, like I just mentioned, increasing the athlete cap to 200. And a big reason that we're doing that is because we're moving to a two platform event. We'll talk more about that here in a second. Athletes are eligible for awards in the category that they register under. So this year we are making a change to the ticket pricing and the way tickets will work out, and also the way medaling will work out. If a youth athlete signs up for the youth competition, they're only eligible for awards in the youth category. They won't, going forward, be eligible for a junior award and a senior award. And the reason we're doing this is to conserve awards. We did have a big stockpile at one point, and we have been running through them very, very quickly the last few years. In fact, the board was just discussing before this at our regular meeting that we do not currently have enough medals for this year's event because of the rate that we've been going through them. So we have to replenish those. So that is a change that's being made. Again, if you're a Masters athlete and you sign up under the Masters division, you're only eligible for Masters awards, not automatically senior awards. You can change that, though, by purchasing tickets for additional divisions. This is a common practice at the national level events. If you go to National Championships Week and you're a junior lifter and you want to be eligible for senior awards, you would have to purchase an additional ticket. So we're simply implementing what's done at that level. Like I mentioned, we are adding a second competition platform, and we are also adding additional warm-up platforms for a total of 10. We're going to be implementing some warm-up room restrictions that will help us comply with Safe Sport, and also to make sure that it's not a complete zoo in the warm-up room. With 2 sessions going on at the same time and 10 platforms, officials, coaches, athletes, we really can't have people that shouldn't be in the back room in the back room. Athletes will be given passes, which is something that we're working on right now. We were fortunate enough for USA Weightlifting to give us the colored athlete passes that they hand out at the AO Series 1. They have given us over 2,000 of them. When I was at the event, I scooped them all up and brought them back here to New York. So we're going to doctor them up a little bit, make them look like the New York WSO, and athletes will get a certain number of passes. And then we will be monitoring the back room. We'll have signage that states, hey, you can only be in here if you have this colored pass. And we will be having a curtain up for privacy and really trying to keep that warm-up room as concise as it can be. Volunteer food will be kept away from the weigh-ins. That was some feedback that we had received from attendees with the hotel put unfortunately the food in the hallway last year, and that was a little bit of a torturous for people who are trying to make weight. So we're going to make sure that that food goes inside of the place it needs to go. And then we have sponsorships and additional team prizes. We have been reaching out to local companies and other companies to sponsor the event by providing some money. Frank Ford has been leading the charge on this. We are still in search of a title sponsor, but we have gotten some other smaller businesses to make contributions. And one of the goals was to take the money that was earned from those sponsorships and put them towards a new team prize. And the team prize would be a barbell for men's and women's that the winning team would take home. So at this coming state championships, these barbells have already been ordered, by the way. They're actually in the mail being sent to Bennington. If you are the best male team, you take home the men's barbell. If you're the best female team, you take home the barbell as well for that. And those bars that we purchased are the Rogue Pyros bars, and they will match the barbells that are on the other platforms. So we're going to be fortunate enough to have the same equipment on both competition platforms. So that's exciting stuff coming up with the event there. Here's my my drawing for those of you who have not seen it yet. If anyone wants me to send this to them, I'm more than willing to do so. It's not top secret. This is what the room will essentially look like. You have down at the bottom of the image the atrium. That's where the big glass windows are and where the warm-up platforms have been in previous years. If you go up a little bit, we have a foyer. That's that big open space on the other side of the atrium that you have to pass through to get to the competition area. We're going to put a couple platforms there. We'll have the water station back, and the tentative goal is to have a marshal's table. That all comes down to volunteers, though. So if we have enough volunteers to make a marshal's table work, we would love to run with that system. If we have to go old school and have the speaker shuffle cards, so be it. We will do that. And then you have the competition platforms on either side of the room. If you look on the far left-hand corner or left-hand side of the image where it says stage, our previous competition platforms have been in front of that stage. So now we're just going to turn the room and split it in two to have a platform on either end. Frank Ford and I did a walkthrough of the venue back in February and mapped all this out, and it's going to fit very, very well. In addition with the spectator seating, privacy curtains, all these things. Next up, in order to make this work, we're going to need help. We're going to be doubling our volunteer base, so we're going to need people that will help us to do this. Loaders, if you're loading, it's $30 per session. All volunteers will get an event t-shirt and a gift bag. You'll be fed breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then there is some hotel room compensation that will factor into this. If you are working 4 sessions, then you will get the volunteer rate of $119 plus tax. And that will be reimbursed to you after the event. So once you do work those sessions, you would submit it to me, and then I will work on getting you $119 back off of your $142 room payment. That X should say 8 sessions. So if you work 8 sessions or more, then you'll get your room fully paid for. And I'm seeing too, my together got chopped off there. But with the rooms that the WSO is paying for, we are going to be trying to room people together. We simply don't have enough rooms that'll be available to give everybody their own room with their kids, their wives, things like that. It's not going to be totally feasible. So what is typically done at the national level is that people room together. Let's say if Joe and I are both going to national championships week and we apply to have our room compensated, they would say, all right, James and Joe, you guys are sharing a room. And that just helps us to get more volunteers taken care of. An email will be going out listing all of this stuff here on the menu. And if you're interested in volunteering, email me at james.amcd@yahoo.com. If you're interested, we can use all the help that we can get. That is how this meet will be successful, is with volunteers. And over here we have Owen Putnam, clean and jerking 161 kilos at the state championships. And I believe he made this, right, Sam? This is a made lift?
I don't think so.
Oh no. I looked for the prettiest
James, what are you
post.
doing? This is a setup. You're posting all my athletes missing lifts.
Well, we need Owen to come back and make that lift. You have to admit, it looks really good. Like that's a great split position right there, and it looks totally locked out. Totally believable that he made it.
He had it for at least a second.
Did. Moving on. So we've been getting now. All right, over here, Tracy Meyer, 57 kilos. I know for a fact she made this. She made this one. Moving on, why Binghamton? So we get asked frequently the question of why are we going to Binghamton, New York so often for the state championships? And, I've had conversations, Joe has, other members of the board have talked to people to answer this. What I want to do right now is just go through why this is such a valuable location for us. That way, if I need to point someone in the direction of this video to get all the information, I can do that. And also just to show the value of what we have in Binghamton, New York. So we will be returning in 2024 this year, but also 2025, 2026, and 2027. We recently just signed the contract for those last 2 years with the hotel, and this was approved by our entire board of directors unanimously. Reason number one, and these are in no particular order, but listed here, is travel. Binghamton, New York is pretty centrally located, and there are adequate bus routes from all corners of New York State. And you can see the times listed there on the screen on how long roughly it would take to get from that location to Binghamton. When I put that into Google Maps, I didn't have a specific location. I just typed in Buffalo, and that's what it told me. So I didn't, give a specific address, but it's pretty centrally located and not a long trip for most everybody. And the bus station is walking distance, just a couple blocks down from the hotel. So you could take a bus from Long Island and just be a couple blocks away from the hotel venue, and then you're all set. The next thing is equipment. The distance is helpful when transporting all of the lumber and a lot of barbells and plates from the Hudson Valley. Joe Rodriguez is in charge of holding on to all of that equipment. If we were to move the meet, for example, to Buffalo, New York, then that would increase his travel time from about 2.5 hours from the Hudson Valley to nearly 5 hours, depending on where we put it into Buffalo. And that means as well, the U-Haul mileage and rental costs also goes up. And not for nothing, it's more taxing for the volunteers, Joe, and whoever's going to be riding along with him, to have to drive 10 plus hours in a U-Haul to lug all this equipment around. If Joe leaves on Sunday night, then he's getting home really late. If he leaves on Monday, it's still going to be a huge part of his day to get back and then unload everything. Next up, we have the hotel itself. So there are a lot of benefits to the hotel venue. Number one, we have an excellent working relationship and stream of communication with the hotel management. It is very clear that they want us to be there and that they care about the event. And that's very, very important to me. Later on, if anyone wants to speak on it, that we have had some horror stories, and we've talked about it in past meetings as well, of hotels not being responsive and also adding hidden fees here and there. There's not been any hidden fees or anything from the DoubleTree. The ballroom itself is $1,000 per night. It's free for every 100 rooms we sell per night. And we've only paid the $1,000 once in the last 2 years since we've been using the venue. In 2022, in fact, we didn't meet the minimum number of hotel rooms to be sold, and management still waived the rental fee for both days, which is incredibly generous. The amenities are free. They've offered to give us a second ballroom should we decide to host a party or some sort of a social for free. So there is no rental fee or stipulation for a smaller secondary ballroom. And in fact, they've written it into the new contracts that we have that no matter what we decide, we get that second ballroom if we want it. The weigh-in room, 2 changing rooms, volunteer room, the atrium, the foyer are all free with no additional charges or fees. The tables and chairs and other hotel equipment are free. The water station is free. The USA, New York State flags that we're going to use for our podium are free. And the room setup and cleanup and parking and all that other stuff are all complimentary. They could easily be tacking on fees for all of these things, but it's all been waived. All they want is for us to purchase food for catering, and there is that stipulation if we don't sell enough rooms, it's $1,000 per night. Continuing on with the hotel, for the amenities on site for athletes, there's a sauna for anyone trying to make weight. There's a hot tub for recovery. There's a pool, there's locker rooms, and there's a fitness center. And in that fitness center, there are barbells and bumper plates. Not that anyone would need to use them, but hey, you never know. The food, the hotel frequently each year has aided me in reducing our catering bill, and they have not tacked on any outrageous fees or taxes. We're not paying anything for extra silverware. In fact, they go through the items line by line with me, and anything I don't want in order to save money, they allow me to remove. One example would be meals last year came with soda, and we didn't really drink the soda too much. So this coming year, I said, hey, can we take that off and save a little bit of money? And the answer was yes. And the answer so far for the vast majority of requests that I've made have been yes. No problem, James, which is fantastic. And I would say hard to come by. The space is big enough to support a 2-platform meet. So if we were to move this event at any time in future years, I would hope that the place that we find can accommodate 2 platforms and 10 warm-up platforms, in addition to all the other rooms that we need to run the event. And there is that big bonus of everything is on one site. Athletes don't have to stay at a hotel down the road and then drive to the competition venue, unless they choose to. If you get a room at the hotel, everything's right there. It's a one-stop shop. And there's also a restaurant on site for attendees that can, you can eat there, or across the street, walking distance, there are several other very nice restaurants. And a great grocery stores. Wegmans is down the road too, just a 10-minute drive to Wegmans. The room rate. By signing a multi-contract deal with the hotel, we avoid the room rate increasing, and we also avoid the ballroom increasing or the deposit increasing, anything like that. They allow us to keep one rate at the rate of signing the contract. And that helps us very well, to save and conserve money. So our 142 room rate for attendees, that was the room rate last year. It'll be the room rate this year, and it will be the room rate next year. We won't see it increase until 2026 and 2027, and it'll only be by a couple dollars, and that's because it's a new contract. Had we decided to sign a contract year to year as needed, the room rate would continue to go up year to year. But since we're signing for multiple years in a row, they honor the rate at the signing of the contract, at whatever it is at that moment. And the parking's free. I may have already said that. I can't remember. So those are all the reasons why the location in Binghamton is very valuable to us. And I think it's also important to note that the members of this board are unpaid volunteers. And we have gotten some criticism about going back to Binghamton. I hope that this information makes it a little more clear on why it's a benefit for the entirety of the WSO. But also, I have a full-time job, as do other members of the board. And to find another location would require traveling around the state, meeting with people, getting in Zoom meetings, emails back and forth. And I can tell you from what we already do in our organization for this meet, so much of our time is dominated with just this state championships. The conversation for 2024 started in fall of 2023, almost immediately after that year's event. So a lot of legwork is done throughout a year to put on the show that we have been, and we're continually trying to make it better and better. At the moment, there is no extra bandwidth for me personally to pursue another location, especially since the location we have is so perfect. I welcome others to search. So if you are out there and you are critical of this, I challenge you to do the legwork and keep me informed. If it is a better deal and it will take care of members in the WSO, maybe in 2028 we can make that change. But at the moment, there's just no time to pursue anything else, especially when we have what we need. And I'll reiterate that we are unpaid volunteers. I received one email where people thought otherwise. No member of this board can be paid by working at the state championships. So I know for myself, I'll be taking Thursday and Friday off from my full-time job and then working those 4 days fully on the meet. And if you've ever run a meet before, it is a lot of work, and this is all uncompensated. We are completely volunteers. So I would encourage you, when you make criticisms about the meet, understand that we are doing this out of the goodness of our hearts and that we want to see the WO succeed. And it would be much better to ask to lend a hand versus throwing criticism, because at last year's meet, we had about 13 volunteers across the entirety of the event, and the majority of them were from the board. We do need help at this meet with referees, loaders, and people manning other stations. So just something to keep in mind. And also, we can't forget, here we have Jennifer Howell Clark, 80 kilo clean and jerk from New York State Championships. And here's Mr. Tom Smalley, 90 kilo snatch. And he made this one, right, Sam? Did I get one?
Yeah, I think he made that one.
Yes. All right. Perfect. Awesome. Any questions that you may have? If Sam might be the only one here, I'm not sure. But for those of you who are just watching the video version of this, feel free to email me any questions at james.amcd@yahoo.com. But Sam, since you're here in person, and if anyone else hopped in, if there are any questions, I'll take them now and I'll do my best to answer. All right. Alyssa or Michelle, is it indeed just Sam?
Yes.
Okay, all right, cool. All right. All right. Awesome. Well, in that case, thank you everybody for coming. The next general membership meeting, oh, come on now. That should say not April 15th. Give me a second. All right, the whole thing is ruined. We have to redo the entire presentation. So everybody, just take a breath and we're going to restart. No.